riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides and the cover art's a mess. There's so much here to tear apart. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Garrett.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Why I Hate This Album. I am one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. With me, as always, co-host extraordinaire, Jolly J to my Santa too dope, Timothy Richardson. Tim, Merry Christmas. No, what? No. Merry ICPissmas.
Merry ICPissmas to you as well, friend.
Would you like to say that with the enthusiasm that this holiday season deserves? That's not a good start.
Merry ICPissmas, Garrett and everyone.
Thank you. Okay, you ruined it again. God, you are going to make this ICPissmas tough. You got to go along to get along in this show, Tim, and god damn it, we have so much to get along to, so let's get started. Welcome back, my friend. How have you been in this most sacred of weeks?
Terrible, Garrett. Terrible.
Why is that? You should be peaking this week.
I mean, I'm plateauing, but that's got little to do with it. Garrett, it is that magical time of the year that happens every year when I somehow become extremely electrified and just shock the shit out of myself constantly. Yogi and Batman seem to be getting tired of this. They run over each morning, eager for the pets, and I, just as eager, jump up from my staticky couch bed and run over in my flap-bottom PJs, sleep socks, rubbing on the rug, and just electrocute the shit out of them before petting them mercilessly. Also, ICPissmas is terrible.
Oh, boo. No, ICPissmas is great. ICP, not so good.
Oh, fair enough.
Do not denigrate the holiday.
Oh, that's true. Well, you gave me some very lovely gifts, and I thank you for them.
That's right. All of them smeared with paint.
Yeah.
It should mostly wash off.
Most of the things you gave me didn't, not all of them, but most of them didn't have faces, so I don't know why there's face paint upon them.
I had to give them faces. Clowned up every one of those things. I clowned up that remote control car, clowned up that sweater for you, clowned up that HD TV you've been wanting for the bathroom.
Oh, it's ruined. That screen did not get clean. It's clowns that I will be watching from here on out.
That's fine, Tim. Celebrations aside, personal jubilation and clown envy out of the way, what album has been bestowed upon you and I this week in order to celebrate ICPissmas?
We have been celebrating ICPissmas with ICP's 15th official studio album, Fearless Fred Fury, released February 15th, 2019. Again, welcome to ICPissmas, a bit that will never get old.
Ever. I do like that the enthusiasm for this joke does seem to ebb and flow between us almost perfectly, so that just about the time one of us is ready to axe it, the other one gets super into it. It could be the very nature of our friendship. And that brings me to the question, Tim. After an entire week with these treacherous clowns you know so well, and their album Fearless Fred Fury, Timmy, do you hate this album?
I do, Garrett. I do. Here's the thing. I cannot believe we made a blood oath with these goddamn monochromatic fake clowns to listen to an album per year until we are all dead. They keep making these albums. We will not run out. I have done the math. We will not run out of these albums.
Can't.
Yeah, you'll definitely never run out. I actually envy you only having to listen to one more of them. But
wait, I'm only going to live another 12 months?
Well, up to 23.
That's not long enough.
I guess I'm doing this with Gino after that. It's weird to me that Gino is definitely going to outlive you.
Oh, God.
Garrett, do you hate this?
We're off to a tough start. Do I hate this? No?
What? Come on. Fearless Fred Fury?
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't want to spoil anything. I don't like it. Let's be really, really clear, because I feel like sometimes you tend to jump to the other conclusion. I really don't like it. And we're going to talk about all the reasons. See, there's that then. We're going to talk about all the reasons I fucking hate it, in fact. But...
Oh, excellent. Got there.
No, it doesn't count. Damn it. Anyway, for now, no, I don't hate it. It's not for me, but if you go to a gathering of the Juggalos and you get some some sort of super chlamydia, like you can't be surprised or angry.
You can.
You
Super
can be angry,
chlamydia,
but you can't be surprised.
Well, sure. Right.
Sure?
I agree completely. You can be angry. I'm not surprised I hate this, if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, okay, you know what? You raise a good point. Just because it's not for me, that doesn't excuse the fact that I really hate it. That is the nature of the question. Boy, am I getting there right now as we speak? No, I don't. And I will defend it in a moment. But before I do, we're not at general thoughts yet. Do we even ask it, Tim? I mean, this is the 5th or 6th time we've done this. Probably 5th time we've done this. Maybe 4th.
6th?
No, we didn't do it. No, that's not possible.
2018, 2019, 2020.
We didn't do it in 2018.
We did. Bang Pow Boom, Amazing Jekyll, Great Malenko, Yum Yum Bedlam, Mighty Death Pop. That's 5. This is year 6.
4.
Oh my God! Bang Pow Boom, Amazing Jekyll Brothers, Great Malenko, Yum Yum Bedlam, Mighty Death Pop.
Sounds like 4.
I hate you so much.
Anyway.
I am going to stab your face.
I don't quite. I might hate it. I'm not sure, honestly. I might hate it. No, let's say for now I don't. It's the opening of the show. Happy ICPissmas. Let's get into it. Tim, you hate it. I don't quite hate it yet. Dare I ask? I mean, I know your history. Let's refresh the listeners prior to this horrible, horrible life sentence we have given ourselves to continuously listen to this every holiday season. What's your personal history with this band?
I mean, none really. I was familiar culturally with them. I was familiar with their fans, the Juggalos. I was familiar with the FBI's case against them, having worked for the FBI as a summer intern. We all know our collective history with these fucks on this show.
Sure.
Our yearly ICPissmas. I, of course, am quite familiar with the namesake of this album, Garple's father, the fearless Fred Harvey, so named for his legendary bilateral amygdala lesions. Never heard this album, though.
Yikes.
Yeah. What about you? Have you heard this?
No, of course not. In fact, I don't even remember the process by which we seem to be picking these albums. It would have made sense
At
to
random.
do it That does seem to be it, doesn't it? Yeah, fair enough.
We were
Asked and
initially
answered.
going for the popular ones, and that ran out after 2 years.
That's right. That's right. So yeah, same history as you with like one small addition. I legitimately remember like learning about ICP as a child.
Interesting.
Being like,
Your father set you down and was like, listen.
avoid these people. No, that's literally, that is instinct.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that's my whole point is I remember literally seeing ICP as a kid and being like, oh, this is not for me. At like a fundamental level, 90% of people, maybe 95% of all of humanity is shown ICP and they're just like, no. But
Yes.
that remaining percentage, Tim, they're so in.
They're
so in and they're so uniformly awful.
Yeah.
And they're all so terrible in their special and unique, and let's reiterate, awful ways that they create this tapestry of fandom that's, you'd almost admire it if you didn't understand the traits of the people that make it up. And so, Tim, I ask you, help us understand. Take us on a journey rather than a history of the band, as we have done many, many, many years in a row, as you pointed out, as many as 4 even.
5. It's been, well, okay, I'll give you this. One of those times, I accidentally did history that was based more in film and clownish imagination than real life. So the history might have been given 4 times.
Fair enough. Agree to disagree.
Oh my God.
In any event, this year, Tim, take us on a journey. Help us understand who are the fans of ICP and how are we going to get to know them?
Well, Garrett, I was originally going to do a series of oral histories, maybe some hilarious arrests. The point is, it got dark quick, and so I decided instead I found some articles with quotes, not from Joe Brew or Joe Utz, but from Juggalos. Well, Juggalos and Juggalettes, because, as you said, it's important to understand just who is this music intended for? What mindset, what chromosomal count would one need to truly just be all in on this? So,
Shots fired.
in the spirit of reporting Garrett Harvey's quotes out of context with a good in-conversation at the end of this show, these are some in-conversation quotes out of of context pulled from Reddit, BuzzFeed, the Riverfront Times, the Miami New Times, the Phoenix New Times, and the Dallas Observer, and these will all be anonymous except for the ones by Gary Busey's nephew, Mike.
Mike Busey.
Big Juggalo fan. The first from one of these goddamn gathering of the Juggalos. It's synthetic acid. It's from Canada. I won't sell you more than 2 hits. It's responsible, Garrett. These are responsible people.
It's a good policy. And I mean, I gotta say, as a salesman, no better way to sell more drugs than to be like, listen, buddy, I don't even know if I should give you this much drugs. This stuff's that good.
Do you guys know who I am? I'm an ugly motherfucking piece of shit, and I don't give a fuck. But I came here to party. That is, of course, Gary Busey's nephew, Mike.
Where? I assume at the gathering of the Juggalos.
At the gathering of the Juggalos. Most of these are from that. Not all of them, but he looks like Gary Busey, but like worse.
No, that can't be accurate.
Horsier. Sorry.
I like the idea that like he's a celebrity guest. I know he isn't. He's just an attendee. But like the idea of like, we've got Papa Roach, ICP. What's this guy's name?
Mike Busey.
Mike Busey, nephew of Gary.
Yes.
What? What's he gonna do?
And of course, Ron Jeremy. No, here's the saddest part. I think that he believes himself to be a celebrity guest, or I don't know.
Featured something?
A featured guest. Bring me a poop dollar. It don't gotta be your poop. There is poop all over these grounds. Go find some.
What's a poop dollar?
I believe it is a poop that has been on the ground for a bit and like been stepped on a bunch of times, so it's nice and flat like a dollar, which you can exchange to the Juggalos for goods and services. Doesn't have to be your poop.
It was $1 wiped in poop.
Oh, it might be.
Either way, why?
Why are you specifying that there be poop on this money you give me?
These are the people that go to the festival celebrating this band.
I want to romantically spew milk into her mouth. Now that is, of course, Gary Busey's nephew, Mike.
Mike Busey.
You've been Busey! Oh.
What did he say, romantically?
Oh yeah, romantically. He wants to put milk into his mouth and place that milk from his mouth into the aforementioned her in a romantic fashion.
All right, I mean, let's workshop it for a minute. What are we picturing here? What's the romantic version? Obviously, it's not a spray and pray. Like, you're not just...
Well, he does say spew, so it seems like it's going to be romantic and violent.
Oh, that's true. So, like, I'm kind of picturing maybe he's hovering over her and letting it just kind of... all out of his mouth.
And you gotta picture this too. That's a Busey mouth.
So you gotta hear a bunch of nonsense before he does it too. I'm gonna give this to you like the enlightenment of the gods gave it to me. This is mother's milk. It's coming straight from my giant jumpers. Look out, lips, past the gums. Here comes Busey, and it's a lot of fun.
I almost got lured into a gay acid orgy over shots of Fireball.
Okay, let's break it down. I almost got lured into a gay acid orgy over some Fireball whiskey?
Over shots of Fireball, yeah.
Okay.
I think what's happening is they were all sitting around drinking whiskey, and that is when somebody thought to bring up, hey, gay acid orgy? Huh?
Because, I mean, let's be fair. Let's assume for a minute, like, you and 3 fellas you just met at the local ICP fest.
And some ladies.
Well, it's a gay acid orgy.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, no ladies. Go on. Continue.
Anyway,
I apologize.
And you're doing shots with them and, you know, whoop whoop and whatnot. Faces painted, probably. And it just so happens those 3 fellas are gay men. And that's fine. And they're like, hey guys, we're pretty fucked up. You guys want to do some acid and have a big orgy?
Gay clowns.
Gay clowns. That makes total sense. But yeah, this guy, if you just didn't know any better, he didn't make any assumptions about anyone's lifestyle. What does he care? It's they're all down to clown, as it were. Could happen to anybody.
Yeah, sure could. Fuck him in the ass with a Sharpie for $15.
Oh, heavens. That somebody didn't bring enough money to the festival. How did you think they got to that?
I assume they were running through. I assume that like this was somebody was standing there and shouting what people could do for money, and after everything else was exhausted, it was that.
Because it was probably an escalation, right?
Oh, absolutely. You don't start with that.
I'll give you $1 to deep throat this marker. Okay, great. I need $1. I'll give you $5 to, I don't know, put it in your butt for 5 seconds, and then I'll give you $15 to let me fuck you with it. That's not enough money. That's not enough money. What's enough money? Not for you and me.
This is a marker that has been passed around, but it's also been passed around this filth festival. Like lots of hands
inside you.
Yes,
haphazardly.
This is from security. You can take mushrooms and eat acid just as long as you don't have any glass bottles. That's just smart.
Yeah, you know what? Finally, somebody's talking some sense. No harm.
I'm going to rape your mother if you don't buy our drugs.
Oh, joke's on you, pal. You don't even know where my mother lives.
That's fair.
Turn the tables on him.
Freedom of the press means I can do whatever I want. Also, never pay for anything. Don't tread on me, motherfucker.
I bet you meet a lot of, what did they call sovereign citizens at an ICP festival?
Yes. It would, yeah. You know what? I'm just going to stick with yes. I think that's probably accurate. My dick is horrible. My dick looks like a vagina.
What do you think he means by that?
I don't know.
My dick looks like I assume it's like a small dick.
I don't know, Garrett.
But that still would not look anything like a vagina. Like if I, met a woman at the bar, we go home, back to her place, and I'm like, well, that's not a vagina. And then she's like, well, yeah, it's a really small dick, though. It's like a vagina. I was like, no, I'm sorry, sir. It's still not.
Or madam.
Sure. Whatever.
But it is a
pronoun
penis.
But yeah, that's a penis. And that's just not what I'm into.
You don't know what a cheeseburger is? Oh my God, they're the best.
I'd like to meet that person. I could knock their socks off.
There were tons of pictures of the food at this thing. You definitely could. It is,
I'm picturing a lot of Hormel chili and funnel cakes.
Yeah, well, it's a lot of there's 3 burgers left in one of those metal tin, like the metal
the
cafeteria
things. The grease tins.
Yeah, but it's filled halfway up with grease, and so they're just kind of plucking it out of there. It's horrible, Garrett.
God, you and I should start setting up a thing outside the gathering of the Juggalos and just start selling medium quality food.
Done.
Yeah, we'd probably make a bunch of money. I don't know though. Those fucking savages will probably steal all the food and rape you with a Sharpie. Sorry.
I landed on my belly and just started sliding. Then the 4-wheeler hit me in the back.
Boys will be boys.
Absolutely. Whoop whoop. Dizzy, that don't make everything better after a serious accident. You gonna just show up to the hospital and go whoop whoop?
I bet I could jump over that whole crate. I wouldn't do that. Whoop whoop. That does not change that you can't jump 9 feet.
I don't know. I think Whitney Houston should have died.
That's a hot take.
Do not take anything called spice. That is bath salts.
That's probably good advice. I didn't know that. Did you know that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Garrett.
What?
I have a thriving bath salt business. The problem is...
You call it spice. Wait, isn't that the drugs in Star Wars?
No, I think that's the stuff from the...
Dune.
But
it's both, because Harrison Ford is definitely a spice smuggler.
Oh, stupid.
Or something.
What a stupid series of movies. Let me see your butthole.
Okay.
Shouted at presumably a woman.
I mean, Gathering of the Juggalos, she might go, cool, here it is. If somebody were to come up to you, Tim, at the Gathering of the Juggalos, so you've already surrendered a lot of dignity and self-control.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And they were just like, you are stunning. May I see your butthole? Is that a compliment?
I think it's meant as a compliment, but it is not one. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. Sure, I'm thrilled, Garrett. Thrilled, because you shouldn't.
You've been dying to show somebody.
Nope.
Oh, why are you thrilled?
Spend a lot of my time keeping that bad boy covered up, Garrett. I am thrilled because it's somebody, somebody taking an interest. Somebody assuming it's not as bad as it is. And that's nice.
Okay. Yeah. Buttholes. Yikes. Anyway. Okay. Fair enough. What else you got?
Where did my dick go?
Presumably somebody who did too many drugs and is nude and confused.
Girl, I would break your netting.
Pass. I might cut that one out. I hate that.
Panty sniffers. Tell you what, he said he'll put on the thong and let you smell it.
Oh, there's no.
PCP will make you a woman.
No, it won't. It'll make you a venom.
That's true. Or a Hulk.
Yeah, either one.
Either way, pretty good thing to be. Let's finish on this one, Garrett. I'm fucked up. Praise Jesus.
Yeah, it's a good one to end on.
But that's who this music is for, Garrett. It's people that say all of those things to answer the question at the end of the show.
Yeah, I think you've done an excellent job of painting a picture of who should be listening to this. We're not those people. We don't say those things. Fascinating look into the Juggalo culture. Of course, if anybody's confused, that is the annual gathering of the Juggalos. And this is a good time to say, if you've not ever heard one of our annual ICPissmas episodes, please go back to the beginning. I mean, there's as many as this. This might even be the fifth one. Tim's still doing the math.
Oh my God. Bang, pow, boom. The Amazing Jekyll Brothers, the Great Malenko, Yum Yum Bedlam, Mighty Death Pop. We have suffered for your sake, and I will get credit for all 6 now.
As soon as those numbers come in, we'll update this episode. But till then, folks, get back there. Listen to those back eps if you want to hear the history, our history, their history. I've done the history. Tim's done the history. I wrote a Night Before Christmas themed poem about that time they had a butterfly that they killed.
That's true.
So
that's true.
That's
also,
all out there.
Rivers Cuomo wrote a poem about it.
I think that was about a lady.
Oh my God. Rivers Cuomo, worse than ICP.
Yes. They know what they are. He denies his true form. Alrighty, Timbo, that brings us to general thoughts. Where to begin, right? Let's maybe position this album in the discography of the ICPissmas. It's the 4th Joker card in the 2nd deck of the Dark Carnival saga. And of course, you know exactly what that means.
It's the 3rd pack.
Not what my notes say.
This is album 15. There's 2 of 6. There's 6.
I mean, there's several websites call it the 4th.
Okay.
Who gives a fuck, right? It's in the 2nd pack. We
or
agree
3rd.
there.
I'm saying 3rd.
The point is, they came up with this big conceit a long time ago called the Dark Carnival Saga. It was going to be one deck, and each album was a card in the deck representing a demon at this carnival. They got done, and they were like, let's just make a 2nd deck. And so we were well into the 2nd deck. This came out, 2019-ish?
It did, yes. This, unfortunately, we have a little kindred spirit here with Joe Brew and Joe Utz, Garrett, because they trapped themselves in some sort of horrible conceit that they can't escape from because a bunch of idiots won't let them. I'm right there with them, friend. I understand what it's like to be almost
trapped by your own art.
I wouldn't call this art, but yes, other than that, accurate.
It's your art.
Oh, that's true. It's just not art.
Right.
Fair enough.
Yeah, we're not saying it's art to anybody else but us. It's just our version of it.
This is missing their quote-unquote good producer, Mike E. Clark. He's the one that did Malenko, Jekyll Brothers, Bang Pow Boom, The Mighty Death Pop, the good albums. And these beats, Garrett, they don't work for me.
Okay, let's get into the beats. These beats work for me.
Really?
Tell me what doesn't work for you, and I suspect what you don't like is exactly what I am taking solace in.
So okay, that's fair. So I think I know one thing you like. You like the video game noises. You like the gunshots. The sound effects is what you're into.
I do like sound effects.
I mean, for me, a good portion of it is oddly conventional.
Yes.
And I expect it not to be. But some of it veers into what I can only describe as SoundCloud rap. And I don't want that.
Okay, let me... you and I are on the exact same page. I enjoyed the fact that they didn't try to get too crazy with the production in general. These were very tame beats. These are beats you and I can make, and you and I don't make beats. Well, we dabble. Anyway, what you're complaining about is completely valid, but I appreciate the fact that this isn't a cacophony of insanity, and instead it's kind of boring. And to address your second point, it was fascinating to me to see them emulating the style of the time. That is your SoundCloud rap. It was very funny.
It's certainly odd. I will give you that. It's a weird affectation for these guys to attempt to do something more conventional. But I still don't
why
like
bother?
It. Yeah.
I have a weird feeling that in later years, Shaggy 2 Dope has become just tiresome for Violent J, And because Violent J writes most of the albums.
At least this one, yeah.
Yeah, like this has become, yeah, that's a good point, because I sure as shit didn't go back to the other ones, but he is highly represented on this album, both as the writer and performer.
And that is, of course, Joe Brew.
Tough to say. I sure as shit don't know. But in any event, it seems as though Violent J, for better or worse, suddenly wants to be like a more legitimate artist. Is that possible?
I mean, I can see why he would want to be a more legitimate artist. He looks out over the crowd and says, I have really painted myself into a corner here. I need to get that, let's get that Rick Rubin and that Johnny Cash American Recordings period of my career going here.
That would be fascinating. I don't know what that would look like, because I now know what they sound like singing, and it's not good.
Myself.
Gross. Okay, let's see here. For anybody who doesn't remember, the Dark Carnival is where souls face judgment based on their individual actions, and allegedly every one of these albums talks about the various actions one can and cannot take in order to end up in that hellscape. They loosely keep some songs related to that premise and then abandon it completely about halfway through, so don't be surprised when we do.
Yeah, it's 3 songs in, as it is every single goddamn thing. It is, very similar in structure to the other albums. For me, this one's unremarkable compared to those. This feels like the tired comedy of like an Andrew Dice Clay, where it's
interesting.
Because here's the thing. So I think this sucks, and I suspect that part of the response to that would be like, oh, you're just offended by it, right? That's the knee-jerk response to criticism like this.
Yeah, and that's not it.
Sure, I'm not offended by this. I'm not really offended by anything ever, but this is, it's just hacky bullshit. It's lazy. It caters kind of to the lowest common denominator. A lot of this sounds like a bunch of 10-year-old kids watched a bunch of Ren and Stimpy, and then they tried to one-up each other and got to this. It's shock in place of substance, and it kind of just delivers on nothing. And
that's fair.
There's so much of it, Garrett, right?
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Counterpoint, let's talk about how much work this must have been.
I mean, sure, yeah, that's the problem, though. This is as long as a CD can be, right? This is 17 songs. It is between 79 and 80 minutes, but it also includes a 50-minute quote-unquote EP, Flip the Rat, that is 12 songs, another 79-minute album called An Era of Fury, that is 17 songs. If my math is right, that's 46 songs, 208 minutes, and 12 seconds.
Dedicated to nonsense.
Cut that down to 11 songs that are actually worth a shit and release that. Make an 11-song, 50-minute album, stick to making it a concept album, or don't, I don't care.
But just do one or the other.
Right, yeah.
Now let's talk about how long these songs are. Ranging from, I don't know, what's the shortest? 1:54 for the intro?
Yeah, well, I don't count the intro or the second to last one, but yeah.
Fair enough, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Not counting those, they're between 4 and 6 minutes, and there's 15 of them.
Yeah.
Now, the other two, and only other two, are basically skits / intros / spoken word, blah, blah, blah. That was the other kick in the dick. This week in particular, the work to get ICP, Fearless Fred Fury, ready to go by ICPissmas it's more work than I think I've ever done for one of these episodes.
Yeah, because usually I complain about the number of skits. I complain about the pointlessness of skits.
More skits, please.
4 more skits. Replace
let's
some of
double
these
the
songs
skits
with some skits. Yeah.
Yeah, I could have really used a couple of skits where we check back in on the Dark Carnival and what Fred's up to. Unfortunately, it's just song after song, ranging from 4 to 10 verses. 10 verses! I'd say split that into 2 songs, but please don't.
Yeah.
It's too long, man. I can't keep doing this.
Seriously, cut this down. And here's the thing, they didn't release an album for, the last album they'd put out was 4 years prior, but they released solo albums too. I mean, I think they've released 16 official albums, but between studio albums, compilations, which are just mixtapes and other, bullshit, basically everything all in, they have 40 albums and 19 EPs released between the two of them.
Good God. That's too much.
Yeah.
That's
And some of those
so much.
are the exact length that a CD can possibly be.
They just ran out of data. Odd. All right.
It's not getting old, though, Garrett. This is still a funny bit.
I love it. I'm still reasonably certain this is entirely your fault.
Oh, at the gathering of the Juggalos, people sell Juggalettes Gone Wild DVDs that appear to be homemade. $20, Garrett. You could be watching these people bang.
Nope. All right, Timmy. Dare I say we cut it short and get into these songs? We got a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
Track number 1, intro.
There is a powerful being from the Dark Carnival.
This starts as all Insane Clown Posse albums start, with a skit of random exposition about some vague theme that the album will sporadically address, for the first 3 songs, maybe.
Right, and let's get right into it. Pride, dignity, and an appreciation for life. Do you possess these traits, or do you let others walk all over you? Do you cry and complain about the conditions of your very existence? If so, there are some who are angered by your constant lack of self-respect, your low motivation, and your missing drive to make the most of your beating heart. Who out there feels this way about you? The dead. Shocking. And it is not read in any way like that. It's more of a demon situation. But
right. It's a vocal performance by Voice Guy.
Great stuff.
And the background music, if you can call it that, it's a Chris Nolan film trailer. It's just
yeah, there's a lot of
yeah. It's okay. So previous albums have focused on the rage of these false clowns against like rapists and child molesters, things of that nature. This one, it's got the same spirit, right? Punishment,
Sure.
Eternal damnation, retribution against sinners, but more focused on shy people.
People with low self-esteem.
Yeah, they're really. I guess the previous Carnival characters just solved all of those other problems, and so now we've got down to just the sad people.
Yes, bottom of the barrel. It's like those later Saw movies. You didn't hold the door for me. Clearly my arms were full.
Who out there feels this way about you? The dead. Those without opportunity, whose time has been spent. The dead cry foul, they're pointing at you. They are not alone. There is a powerful being from the Dark Carnival. His fury toward you is measured by your own lack of self-respect. His fast approaching fist will be among the first things you see when you are dead. Of course, this is the Fearless Fred Fury. So if you're meek, if you don't make the most out of your life, I guess is measured by these jackasses. Like, if you're not a pediatric oncologist with at least a respectable publication history on sarcoma genetics, if you don't have pride, if you're a slight whiner, the collective mass of humanity who has died before you, they're angry with you, and there's a demon that apparently also didn't distinguish himself too well in Lucifer's War on Heaven, so he's kind of in the same position of being a loser, and he got the meager job of punching these people
out.
in
What's
the
happening?
He may have he got the meager job of punching these people in the face as soon as they arrive in the afterlife, right? So it seems to me that Fearless Fred Fury is maybe just mad because he also hasn't really distinguished himself in life.
Oh, interesting. And now, like, his punishment is to punish those that led the same, I can't say sinful, wasted life, I guess we'd say.
It's not even that, Garrett. It's literally, it's these people who are just like, oh, your childhood was kind of shitty, and so you don't have good self-esteem. Hell for you, Garrett. Punched in the face by this Fred guy.
Yeah, it is a little unclear. I mean, listen, I like the general sentiment that you should stick up for yourself and be grateful for the things you have, right? That's not a bad thing.
But okay, and we'll get into this more in the next song, but like maybe instead of punching these guys in the face when they die, this Fred fella could like give them a helping hand. You know, maybe Mr. Miyagi them into some self-esteem. Maybe do that.
Well, at that point, they're dead. Who gives a shit?
Well, no, I'd start earlier, obviously. Come on.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true because, well, we'll get into it later. Good point. Let's get to the best part of the intro. Go ahead. Keep reading.
Oh, yeah. His pet rat, Flip, feeds only off the fear instilled within you by Red Fred, fighter for the dead. He is Fearless Fred Fury.
Yes. So we learn who this Joker is. It is Fearless Fred Fury, the titular character from the title. And we learn that he has like a little Salacious Crumb, like Jabba the Hutt. A little little rat named Flip.
Yeah, but to really find out about Flip, you're gonna have to listen to a whole different album, like that goddamn the Southland Tales. You ever watch that shitty movie?
Oh yeah, that's The Rock and Sean William Scott, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, you get part like 2 and 7, and there's a comic book to fill in the rest. No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't care for that movie. A lot of people like it. Write in, don't. I don't care. Let's see. We start to hear some carnival sounds towards the end of the track, but Tim, I gotta say, I was excited. I was definitely picturing some sort of Muppet creation that's hanging out with Fred, doing a lot of like,
oh yeah,
that sort of deal.
Yeah, but again, I think just to set the tone for the rest of this album, there's Bang Pow Boom, there's the Jekyll Brothers. Those, by comparison, are meaningful characters. These, we have at this point reached the picking your nose stage of Catholicism here, where it's just like, you've really exhausted anything that's
You
real.
go to hell too for this? Yes.
Yeah, it comes across like, and forgive me, Mormons, but like the Mormon, just anything that comes up, I'll just stick my head in this hat, and I'm sure there's an answer in there.
What an excellent question. Let me consult the hat. May I look in the hat? No. The tablets only work for me when I look in the hat. You probably wouldn't even see them.
Track number 2, Red Fred.
Get no other chance. Best Fred, don't nobody advance. Don't ever think
I do want to say, because I'm not going to really comment on the production on this album in general, other than what we've already said, it's just kind of humdrum. However, this album has some of the best producer names of any ICP album.
Absolutely.
This one alone, DJ Mysterioso. Fantastic. Dr. Punch. Definitely want that to be my rapping name.
I want that to be my physician name.
God, that's even better. And Straight Jacket with the required 8 in the middle of the name.
For sure.
Which honestly, for that I'm going to remove a couple of points, but still, I appreciate it. Dr. Punch, though.
Oh, yeah.
Why do they call you Dr. Punch? Stupid question.
Yeah. So this is the first actual song, right? And like on every one of their albums, we have an expository intro, and then we have another second intro song where you talk about this character. So here we've got Fearless Red Fred, whatever. And like your father, Fred, he is a remorseless and merciless punishment monster.
Yes.
No, Red Fred, he does not forgive. After you meet Fred, you don't want to live. With Fred, you get no other chance. Past Fred, don't nobody advance. Don't ever think Fred only playin'. Face Fred, it ain't no use prayin', etc., etc. But then it gets to the chorus where they just say, Red Fred, spreadin', spreadin'. Red Fred, spreadin', spreadin', huh? Fight back. What's the spreadin' about?
Okay, it's the word of Red. Fred's word. Fred's
What?
word to fight back.
What?
It's the gospel of Fred.
Okay, you're still confusing me. Go on.
That's fair. And listen, I don't judge you for not following. Let me try again. So they've very poorly set like just the loosest parameters of what Fred wants of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think the chorus is saying Red Fred, spreadin'. So Fred's influence or rules to live by, chicken soup for the Fred, if you will. Fred for the soul would have made more sense, I guess. Is spreading, and Fred urges everyone to fight back.
Okay.
That's the best I got.
Okay, fair enough. It's weird though, because like we talked about in the first song, Fred is just kind of punching down, right? He is bullying. In the afterlife, he just bullies the already bullied.
Well, they muddle the waters because they kind of talk about two groups that Fred's most interested in torturing for eternity. There's the people that, like you're saying, low self-esteem, get walked all over in life. Those people, simps, you might say.
I wouldn't.
No, but you might. Those are some of the people. But then the other camp are people that might deserve it a little bit more. People that just complain all the time, see the worst in everything, don't take advantage of what they have and just expect shit to happen for them. That's fair.
Sure. Okay, sure.
Fuck those people.
But, okay.
But it's confusing to equate the two.
Yes, because they go on in the bridge here. Get punished, motherfucker. You've been a bad hoe. Shit, you've been a sad hoe. A sad motherfucking sorry sack of pussy shit. Yeah. Scared to get yours, scared to have nuts. Red Fred gonna punish you for being a pussy hole. And since you a pussy hole, get fucked, motherfucker. Now, that won't be the last time I say pussy hole in this album.
If anyone was concerned that pussy hole is just for this song, don't worry. It's clearly part of their daily vernacular. It's the second most used term in this whole album.
It's a real theme, yeah. But it's okay.
Now let's not move off it quite yet.
Right, because he's fucking them, right?
Hold on. No, obviously he's fucking them. No, just like, that's just the worst. First, it's a hat on a hat. Or what's even more weird, and I don't know if it's better or worse, it's just, well, here it is. Is there a chance that whoever wrote this, presumably Violent J, distinguishes between the exterior of the vagina, calling that the pussy, and the hole being where the dick is going to go?
I feel like you somehow made this worse than they did, but yes, the second
No, I don't
thing.
think so. I'm just trying to understand the song. God, it's awful. Anyway, song continues. Yes, Fred's the revenge you never got. Fred's all your dignity shot. Fred's all the drive you didn't know. Fred will burn these into your soul. Where was Fred when these people were alive?
Absolutely, because, I mean, he could make a real difference, Garrett. He could mentor these people. He could, again, be some sort of demonic Mr. Miyagi. Maybe he gives them hell powers to boost the confidence until, like, all of a sudden they disappear and they're kind of cowering again. But Fred's there to remind you, listen, it's not about the hell powers. You can win this fight on your own. You've had the power within you all along.
For the sake of our sanity and moving this show along, I'm willing to say that perhaps it's just slightly sloppy writing that led both you and I to believe that this entire thing is taking place in the afterlife. And I do mean just this song. And in fact, it is what you and I are proposing. What's spreading is like Fred's gospel. Literally like, hey, stick up for yourselves, you know.
Or Fred will punch you the second you die.
Right.
Right in the face.
Yeah, Fred's the revenge you never got. So, you know, fight back, which they do say fight back completely randomly, but throughout the album, I'll give them that. It almost has nothing to do with this concept, but they will randomly just say fight back, which always sounds like a Disney after school special, like, don't roll over to bullying. Fight back, like telling a teacher.
But, I mean, okay, let's move on to the next song because it gets a little Columbine-y here.
Oh boy, I wish you wouldn't make that what is that, a preposition? No, what would that be?
Doesn't matter. We're not going to get there. Track number 3, Fury.
Other bitch, I will murder your mother, bitch. I'll store your head in the cupboard, bitch.
Weird intro to this song about turning your sadness into violence, which I don't know is a very good idea.
Right, sure. He's okay. So the concept so far is if you're weak, you'll be punished for your weakness in the afterlife by being punched in the face by a demon. However, since we know that, the smart move is to not be weak in your life.
Right.
But you are weak. But you could not be weak with, say, a shotgun. You could be shotgun strong.
Shotgun Batman. So we get the intro by Willoughby Rags, who is is basically the carnival barker that extends across most of these albums. And he also sounds like some sort of Muppet. He says, Willoughby Rags here, wanting to know how much pain will you withstand before all your worry turns into fury. Setting the premise that, in fact, at some point you need to turn that frown upside down or possibly into a grimace and take your vengeance upon those around you. And that's a positive message. Like, behind it literally is the concept of, like, stick up for yourself. But, like, it's been horribly mutated.
Yeah, well, these are guys that think that violence is just hilarious to talk about constantly. The more graphic, the better. Which, again, that's fine, but, like...
It's just such a high volume.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not offended by it. I'm bored by it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get into it. I got in my home and I ran in my room. I cut off the lights and the pressure consumed me. Wet is my face from the tears in my eyes. I can't taste them. They're salty. My life I despise.
Let's pause. Garrett poetry.
Yeah. Actually, this is worse.
Well, sure. Of course it is. The point of the Garrett poetry is that it's better than these albums.
That's true. God, I wish I still had that handy. I used to keep it under this desk for just such an occasion. Let's see. I must have put it away. That's a shame. I'll bring that back in 2024. I think there's still one or two I saved for a rainy day. Anyway, yeah, so this person's some sort of sad boy, gets home every day, starts crying and being super sad, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. Alone in the corner, sitting on the floor. My feelings hurt so bad, they're dead to the core. Pitch black as my room, disrupted by the glow. Read 665 on the clock radio.
Did the 665 5 tropes show up in previous albums? Like, is that an ICP thing?
It is an ICP thing. I don't know if it was on previous albums.
Okay.
It is a reference to the Joker decks, I think, or the Joker cards in the deck. Like, they think there's going to be 6, 6, and 5.
Yeah, which is why I think that this is the 3rd deck.
Oh, maybe you're right. I don't fucking know.
God damn it.
Anyway, I'm sure someone will correct us, and by that I mean at least 12 people. Guess what? We don't care.
We hate you so much, listener.
Chorus is confusing. It's fury. Fight back. Get up, fight back. Get up, fight back. Come on, fight back. Get up, fight back. Fury.
It's interesting because we're going to talk more about the incredible amount of violence that one needs to take to not be considered a pussy by these guys.
That's a good question. What is the threshold?
Yeah, because and it's difficult, right? Because these demons all seem to be working independently, right? Fred punishes the cowardly, but he also inspires people to not be cowardly and instead, like, murder and torture perceived enemies. But I'm pretty sure that behavior could get them in trouble with some other demons. This is not a coherent worldview, is my point.
Yeah, ICP, terrible at world building.
Which is odd because I think that's something they would pride themselves on. Like, I really do.
A lot of contradictions. Real season 5 of Lost feel.
Maybe what they should have done is just done one big concept album about all these demons and then focus the rest of the albums on something else.
Yeah, maybe just give it up.
And then again, we then immediately devolve into just them describing the assaults and murders and calling people a bitch a bunch.
Well, I was going to say, I want to talk about that because, yes, it's just sort of the violence for violence sake, but I really want to talk about just poor writing. Poor writing. Fuck all that forgiving the other bitch. Bitch, I will murder your mother, bitch. I'll store your head in the cupboard, bitch. Fuck all that dying and crying and whining. And I want revenge. I don't die, bitch. Murder go round. You gonna ride, bitch. Too many bitches.
It's like they saw some Breaking Bad meme on the internet and are just like, oh, people love it when you say bitch a bunch. We're gonna really lean into that.
Like, I get that they're doing a thing, but then they fuck it up, and it's just too many bitches, guys. It's too many bitches.
Well, here's the other thing. If you're gonna end every line with the word bitch, you have to have better rhymes within the lines themselves, right? Other, mother,
That's the
sure.
issue.
Like, there are rhymes in here, but you gotta, like, Eminem this thing. You can't just, like, it doesn't work. It's bad.
These guys are not Bruce.
No.
Except for that one guy who's literally named Bruce.
Joe Brew.
It's Bruce. His name is not Joe Brew. It's Joseph Bruce.
Right. Joe Brew. I'm shortening it.
No, I know.
Do you not understand my nickname? Should I have explained this better?
No, God damn it, please don't. Let's keep going. Woke up a giant. Too far they pushed me. Never deny I'm a scrub, but I'm no pussy. Swung a machete. Tip of the skull. Split down the middle. You fitted it all. Wicked is the clown. Boom, bang, and pow. Chapaw. Chow, poof, plow.
They know it's bang, pow, boom, right?
I doubt it. World building, not their strong suit. So now I'm wondering, was he motivated by Fred in his life to not be a pussy?
Unclear. Perhaps.
Is it a Jacob Marley situation? You will be visited by one poorly architected ghost.
But here's the thing. Like, okay, so it seems like if that's the case, there needed to be a second ghost that comes up and is just like, but not too far, you know? Because this guy's like, hey, stand up for yourself against these bullies. And just left it at that. And he's like, okay, so anything goes. I'm gonna go get that shotgun and maybe a machete. No. Like, I'm just saying, like, don't let yourself get beaten up every day. You don't need to, like, murder everyone in the school.
And that's the big question, because I got the impression that he was to murder everyone as well. What gave us that impression?
I think, well, the songs of Insane Clown Posse gave us that impression.
Well, sure, eventually. But, like, even, like, there must have been something in the intro that implies that Fred wants you to, like, attack people, because that does seem to be what he wants.
Yes. I'm sucker punching. It's suckers I'm punching. Squeeze the cocksucker's throat. Hear the bones crunching. He'll need a vegetable tube when he's lunching, cause everything neck up could no longer function. Still, I torture him to death in my dungeon. Dumped him in the alley at Vernerin Junction. The corpse laid rotten, became hella pungent, and perfect for Flip and his friends to be munchin'. Cool, man.
Yeah. You can't just read 18 lines of fucking song and say cool?
That's the thing, though. This is what this entire song is. From this point out, that's what it is. It's just descriptions of, like, we're gonna jam screwdrivers in necks, we're gonna jam screwdrivers in eyes, the pavement will become fleshy and wet.
Yeah, he goes on to list all the ways he's gonna beat and torture his enemies. And my question is, who are these enemies? Why does he have so many enemies?
Well, I think that this is literally everyone that he knows, right? The problem is Fred has told him to stand up for himself, but did not give him any more better directions. So just anytime anyone in his life, anytime there's any sort of conflict, he's going to go straight to that machete.
We should mention, Tim, we skipped over the chorus. It's quite bad.
Fair enough.
Hey son, you're facing heli retaliation. Napalm, it's done.
That a lot. Like a lot. And I don't know what that means other than what Tim's already pointed out. The whole rest of the song is dedicated to this man's retaliation on possibly his son. Maybe he's been getting bullied by his large son.
That happens, yeah.
Does that happen? I mean, surely it happens. Everything happens. Werewolves happen. But
no,
that would be terrible. Yeah. Could you imagine if you just raised, you just had an unusually large child who hit like 14 and was like, there's going to be some new rules around here. Go to your room. I don't think so. You go to your room. What am I going to do? The boy is huge.
It's really an unsolvable problem.
I'm sick and tired of you pushing me around, Billy. I don't really give a fuck. You heard I said what I said. I'm saying F words in the house. He's not confident, but he knows his dad's scared of him. That's the best. And God damn it, I'm going to have pizza twice in a week. He's been raised very strictly, so his demands aren't crazy. Otherwise, I'm going to beat your ass because a man named Fred told me to. I do want to point out, we haven't hit it too hard. A lot of this album could be my childhood and upbringing and general guidance from my father.
Oh, sure. Your father, whose name is Fred.
Sure, but is not the muse for ICP.
No. God, no. He did live in Detroit in the early 80s, though.
I wouldn't say he lived there. Was he there?
Sure, he mentored a couple of boys in Detroit in the early 80s.
Listen, he had some work business in Minneapolis, and maybe people who looked like him were seen in Detroit.
Mentoring some clown boys.
Mentoring various clowned youths. Anyway, let's get back to this horrible thing. Fred Fury taught me revenge is the way. Payback's even worth waiting for years. Fight back. It is a tale of self-esteem. Unfortunately, it's self-esteem gone amok.
Oh, react with a bat, swing for a skull, connect with a smack. Yeah, it's too much. Every face staring was freckled in blood.
Oof. Yeah, that's not great. Again, I'm questioning, where is he that there's an audience for his
school
murders? Trader Joe's. Why do you always go to the school? That's the most. Let's assume this is an adult.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then probably the grocery store.
Remember, this guy's fighting against his large teenage son. He's a middle-aged CPA.
So that's interesting. So maybe the father bullies the son, and then Fred comes to the son and gives the son undue confidence. Son begins bullying the father, so then Fred has to go to the father to buoy his confidence. Now the father comes back, and so Fred's just bouncing back and forth between these people. He should have just left well enough alone, or possibly maybe just addressed them together and said, listen, you guys got to work this shit out. But I will say, I like it that you mentioned the grocery store, because I have been bullied at our local Key Foods here by some the frozen food guys.
What is that? How?
You know how you can stand behind where all the food is?
Mm-hmm.
There's this
That's
one
not for
guy.
you.
No, I know. I'm trying to get food, and there's a guy back there that just knocks it out of my way every time I reach for something.
What did you do to him?
I don't know who it is, because you can't see. It's a whole thing, Garrett. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, sounds like maybe he's Fred Furied.
Could be. I did used to bully a lot of guys there, so it might be response to that. Track number 4. Sorry.
Used to walk around there knocking stuff out of people's hands a lot, so it had something to do with that. Yeah. Let's see. I think we've hit just about everything. Let's just move on. Track number 4, West Werner Ave.
Wax giving me a lap, that's my honey heavy. She weigh more than a 3500 Chevy. She lived in a belly. Wax surprise.
This starts with boat noises, and I think that should count as a skit.
This is a Shaggy original, I believe.
Ugh. Well, it's not any better. It begins just like, I think, 3 songs on Rubber Soul by describing sex with an unattractive juggalette who is then gunned down mid-bang.
Does it?
It does, yes.
Minute.
So
Jesus.
he's marinating at home, sipping cheap wine in the recline. Then this bitch is giving him a lap dance.
right.
She lifted her belly, bush, whack surprise, pussy head, fro like the Jackson 5. Just then rounds get down. They want to nix this wicked clown. I took a look. The girl was cooked. Her head exploded, reached for the Uzi at my foot, and I unloaded. Anyway, he then shoots somebody's grandma across the street is the point of this. So far in this song, he's got an unattractive woman making love to him on the couch. She
could be beautiful. She's just very, very heavy.
Fair enough. She gets shot, her head explodes, he returns fire and kills some innocent grandmother. But then it seems like he's going to avenge both his lady and also the grandma, although he did, in fact, murder the grandmother. Yes.
Well, okay, you're not asking the right question. The question is, who shot and why? I assume you got 2 clear options. Either it's a jealous boyfriend who, she might be heavy, Tim, but she's his 3500 Chevy. Or option 2, the more likely, rival clown gang.
Could be. Or perhaps it is just somebody that he bullied and that Fred Fury has come to give confidence.
Or a Van Helsing-like character that hunts clowns.
Right, but these aren't real clowns. I guess he could be confused, though.
Know.
That's true. Yeah, that's fair.
You and you've made that mistake countless times.
Oh, I know, Garrett. I will say this. It is a real disappointment when you gun down a clown and then you go to wipe off his face
smears.
Because with a clown, when you kill them, they always die. The eyes actually get wider when they die. It's really, really upsetting. So you have to reach down and close their eyes. And occasionally you'll reach down and close those eyes and that clown makeup will just smear off under your fingers and you realize you just gunned down a man. A man that was dressed like a clown, but a man nonetheless.
Usually at that point, I just assume that was a clown trying to masquerade as a human who has a clown job.
Well, sure, but in that case, you would wipe away the makeup. There would be human makeup under it, and then that would wipe away to reveal a second clown face. Also, you can usually tell, because if the person bleeds red, that's not a clown.
Oh.
Black, to answer your question.
Well, sometimes it's a very dark red.
No, it's
anyway.
Pitch black, Garrett. And it's thick, too. It's like Venom. You remember Venom?
Venom!
Yes. And now we get to the chorus, Garrett. Would you like to sing the chorus?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I forgot about this. Tim, I love that we buried the lead. Folks, this song is an interpolation of Electric Avenue.
Hold on. Let's bury the lead further. Let's sing.
Okay.
Why don't you sing? Would you sing us the chorus, please, in your best?
We gonna ride down to West Verner Avenue and open fucking fire. We gonna ride down to West Verner Avenue and burn our fucking tires. Whoop whoop.
Yeah, Eddie Grant is spinning in his goddamn grave.
Spinning and vomiting like a front yard mechanical sprinkler.
Absolutely.
This is, okay, honestly, this is the perfect intersection of awful and surprising that I want for my ICPissmas.
Oh, sure.
Who saw this coming?
And that's not the last time we're going to say that on this album. Jesus Christ.
Don't spoil it.
I'm not.
I listened to this album conservatively 10 and a half times. I forgot this happened.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So congratulations. Thank you for doing that, ICP. Keep us guessing. Unfortunately, it does peter out towards the last 7 tracks. But anyway, let's enjoy it while we can. Folks, it's ridiculous. 2 things. One, the obvious. Like, why would you do this? Why? And they've done it before, and they'll do it again. But why? Although in the order in which we've listened to this, I can't actually say if when they'd done this, they had done it before. But I'll assume they had.
They have, yeah.
That's the obvious one. And the second is we have singing. It is on par with other ICP singing we've had in the past because, oh my God, we're going to really get into it later when they're singing, and it's wild.
Yeah, it's the sort of singing that to your ear...
it's what I just did.
Right, but it sounds like they're holding the lyrics in front of them, right?
Yeah, Yeah.
It's
definitely.
it's the cadence of I've practiced this, but not enough, and I'm still having to read the lyrics as we go through it in the studio.
Yeah, I'm reading the song. I'm not singing the song.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was I not stilted and gravelly enough for you?
Not enough.
God damn. Anyway, so that happens, and then the song continues. The Southwest Side is like Baghdad, yeah. People get killed for a gang rag, yeah. If you're my enemy, I'll make your brain hang, yeah. Out the side of your head, big game of tag. I don't care about any of that, except it led me on an interesting little journey. Now, Tim, you probably remember way back in the mid-90s, well, yeah, in the mid to late 90s, when gangs were all about them colors.
Yeah.
Your reds, your blues, and your shootings, and your whatnots.
Yes. Now, I've always been a strong orange wearer in solidarity with the Dutch.
Right. And that's why you have remained neutral. Anyway, at least in LA gang culture. This led me to an interesting question. I was like, you don't really hear about, or even see for that matter, like the straight up head to toe gang colors anymore. And so I was like, I got to Googling. I was wondering, like, is that a thing anymore? And no, it is not, because in the early aughts, word got out, unfortunately, because of some interviews where multiple police across the country basically said, in not quite these many words, it's awesome. It makes it super easy to know who's in a gang, and we don't really have to have any probable cause because they're wearing it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And so they were like, oh, we're going to stop doing this immediately. So people don't really get like murdered for wearing colors anymore. That's good news, right?
Yes and no.
Right.
But this is
Lessons learned.
interesting because they come off as both pro and anti this violence, right? Talking about how it's like
so confusing.
Baghdad to me implies that it's bad, but he's also kind of pro when he does it.
Well, he's relishing in it. He's in the game.
Well, sure, but like, all right.
Yeah, so he says, you're it, bitch, it being dead. And it was a basehead chick who said, hey, her brother's boys, the murder rats. That's a terrible gang name. Just anyway, the murder rats who tried to kill me. I heard that. Pow, bitch. Head paints the wall. Rude. First of all, let me go back. You're it, bitch. It being dead is a very funny way to say I'm going to kill you.
Sure.
Second of all, the murder rats. Maybe like a second draft.
Murder mice is way better. You get that alliteration?
I do like that alliteration. What other M's if they want to stick with the murder? The murder monkeys?
Murder meese?
Nope. That's
mooses?
Going the wrong way.
No, man.
That's what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Moose, man.
No, that's a single one. It's like a goose, geese, moose, meese.
Fish.
No, listen, a moose is super deadly. If you encounter a moose in the wild, you get the fuck away from that thing. I think
no one's disagreeing here. No one's disagreeing here.
Plus, think about the gang sign. You just put your hands on either side of your head like that, like a moose.
Bullwinkle.
This is awesome. Feel free to take this.
Gang members. But again, it would be moose, not meese, to be clear.
I don't know.
I think even mooses is acceptable, not meese. That's nothing. It's nothing. I can tell you were inhaling. Do not. It's not mice or moose. Meese means nothing. We will not. We will see. Song continues. Looking for revenge. 3 hours. Where the fuck are those bitch-ass cowards? Searching the ghetto zone, all sides of it, like pussy holes. They're rarely seen in public.
So both of these guys use that phrase in their writing.
And their lives. Listen, I'm not here to say how anybody's fuck style should be, but just my 2 cents. Let's all just agree we're not going to use the word pussy hole at all. Like just in any context.
I will make this deal with you.
Well, yeah, obviously. You have tacitly agreed by being my friend that we're not going to be saying that in any context other than reading it here. I'm talking about society. Society, can we get on board with that?
Yes.
Ugh. Also, it's just a weird thing to say, like, they are rarely seen in public. And again, the specificity implies that somebody's, like, holding open their vagina.
Yeah. I mean, they are rarely seen in public, though, in his defense.
Song continues. We asked Big Red and Meth Head Sally. Yeah, I took a second. I got head in the alley. We went back home, almost got inside, but Jay called. He found him. All right, let's stop there for just a second. This dude pulls over into an alleyway to get a quick beej like you and I pull over at 7-Eleven to get Gatorade.
Yes, when we had cars, yeah.
Well, sure. I still have one. Find the car. If you can find it, you can have it.
Interesting. May I borrow your phone?
I'm not talking to you.
Oh. God damn it.
It's a podcast. Anyway. So after the quick beach, Jay says, Shaggy, yo, them cocksuckers tried to kill you. Dumping hot slugs through your home. What the fuck? Okay, no real rhythm here. Let's ride and go make some headlines. 5 dead in the ghetto zone. Whoop, whoop. So Jay tries to... Oh, that's right. Jay does, in fact, try to sing this. Shaggy, yo. That's bad. So they're going to go get these guys. 4 scrubs in a bucket pulling up, dumping. Early, empty the full clip. Quickly bust them. Pop, 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 pop. Stop that. Shot dead all 5. So they find him and murder him. I guess the murder rats. God, we didn't come up with... We got really sidetracked on murder
meese. It's great. Come
we
on.
cannot relitigate this.
Murder
It's not
monkfish?
meese. I think murder monkeys is more intimidating.
Murder mongoose.
That's a good one.
Mongooses?
What is the plural of mongoose?
Geese. It's the same thing. It's just like moose. Meese.
It can't... No, it's not like moose because it isn't... I will kill you. I thought it was a bit. I am convinced now it is not. We are firmly in the no-bit zone, Gino. Hit the light. It is now red in here. No bits. Tim's an idiot. Song continues with some playful laughing. Ha 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 ha. No one even called the police. Ha ha ha. Dead on the street all damn week.
See, and this is the thing with being a clown or a pretender to the clown throne. They don't need to call the police. They know who did it, and they will either get their revenge or they can just call the police later because they know who live.
I think you're confused. They're saying no one called the police after they shot them all. They're just corpses in the street.
Oh, sure. I'm just saying that you cannot expect to get away with it just because no one called immediately. Everyone saw that the clowns did it. There are 2 clowns. It's fine. We will solve this crime.
Let's see. Which clown gang did it? It's the ones that aren't dead. How many clown gangs does your city have?
It's a real problem.
You know, honestly, it was sort of amusing at first, but yeah, it's really blossomed into a situation. They're terrifying. Also, you might think you're dealing with this typical clown gang, Tim, and then you get pulled into a goddamn storm drain.
Yes.
You don't know. Could be a Pennywise. You're just like, oh, I can handle this. You're going to try to steal my wallet? Nope, I'm going to rip your arm off and eat your face.
See, now that is what a real clown would do. He's not using guns. He's elongating his arms to make sure you can never get away.
Right.
He's growing teeth out like a dog if he just smoked a whole bunch of salvia.
Very non-specific reference that I don't fully get. Mistakes. Okay, song wraps up with our good buddy Willoughby. He says... or something like that. Willoughby's words of wisdom, bitch. Don't expect peace and tranquility without at least some hostility. And if you're on Easy Street, bitch, you've got some potholes coming. Some are going to get so deep you can look down them and see old Beelzebub himself, brother. Pinching a hot loaf like, what the fuck? And I follow the first part, Tim. It is wise of Willoughby to warn people that life is not all sunshine and rainbows, and just because things are good now does not mean that they will be forever. I tend to live on the opposite side of that, and in fact, things are always awful, and if they are good, that means that you have earned twice as much awful for that brief moment of enjoyment.
This is what happens when you're raised by Fred.
Accurate. But the second half sounds like you end up in a toilet and Satan's pooping on you.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, 1 o'clock the first, brother.
Yeah, there will be more. There will be more. This album is littered with Hulk Hogan samples.
Kids, see if you can collect them all. I believe there are 8 brother samples.
Track number 5, WTF.
Build a wall to keep the aliens out, huh? The fucking long way home's the safer route, huh?
First single off the album.
Sure, and it jumps wildly to political commentary. Did I read this right?
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, so we're gonna build a wall to keep the aliens out, huh? The fucking long ways home's the safer route, huh? The kids are dying, starving from the drought. They found a dead girl with her brains dug out, huh? They executed the wrong man the other day. Again, they checked his DNA after. It wasn't him. Let's stop right there. So we've got this southern border commentary. I guess they're again it. I don't know the dead girl thing. But then they get to this, they executed the wrong man, right? So they're against the death penalty. Is that the image you've gotten from ICP thus far?
No, not even the image being sold by Fred and his fury.
Absolutely. It's super confusing because the executed the wrong man bit, like violent retribution without trial or any other questions, is something they're super into.
Their whole ethos is a Judge Dredd system.
Absolutely. But some sort of like metaphysical one with punches and stuff.
Right, sure. Right. Unless you enact that level of violence in your life, in which case you can avoid it, or possibly not, depending on what those other demons wanted you to do.
It is not a coherent worldview.
No, it's really not. Song continues. The heat increases, the brain bakes. How much more pressure can it take? I'm shaken. How much weight till it gives way and breaks? So we learn that this guy's got some sort of Batman-like sense of justice, and the clowns are getting pretty steamed off, and soon they are going to have to react.
Okay.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Ha ha ha. Hopefully I'll get popped off soon, with any luck. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? He says it again. Why is a wonderful thing like living on this beautiful planet we've been given so fucked up? Now, I delivered that softly and as evenly in tempo as I could. This is screamed. Do not need someone screaming what the fuck in my ears 7 times in a row. But that's what we've got.
Yep.
But ICP, being the lovers of nature that they apparently are, recognize that humanity is on the wrong path and destroying this great world we've been given. So just to wrap it up, anti-corporal punishment, open borders, and environmentally conscious.
Sure.
What ICP is this?
Anti-death penalty unless it's vigilante justice, in which case super pro.
Pro-vigilante murder, anti-state authorized death penalty. I mean, that's a stance. I don't know that that's necessarily a contradiction.
Sure.
It's
not
not a
a
great position.
better situation, yeah. I'm not going to throw in and be pro-death penalty. However, their position is worse, somehow.
Yeah,
like they
they've
figured
managed to
out
figure
a
out a way to do it.
Yeah. They kind of lose the plot for the rest of this song. There's a mix of nonsense, conspiracy theories, and just stuff I didn't get. So a bullshit, hooker, ass-kicking, coke-sniffing joke graduates to throat-slitting and committing rapes. It escalates, but they catch him till he escapes. He takes the bracelets off, slips them and breaks. Half the country are closet racist, disgraces hiding their demon faces, concealing their horns and pitchforks, satanic bitch whores, and devil dorks. The government tells you milk is good for the bones when all it really gives you is bones. It don't make them hard, it makes them soft. Just cut out the middleman and blow my head off. It's a mix of, like, there's a serial killer in the first part of this, then they're against racists who may be literal demons, and then there's some sort of weird big milk conspiracy that may involve erections, maybe not. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, the bones part was very confusing. I did do some research about can milk give you brittle bones, and I did find a study on clevelandclinic.com. So, I mean, that's not a complete, it's probably not bullshit, but basically it was like, as an adult, if you drink over, I think it was 5 glasses of milk a day.
So we can disregard this study as not applicable. Awesome.
Yeah, that was the question I had. I was just like, who are these people? Listeners, write in hatePodMail@gmail.com. Are you drinking milk like most people should drink water?
Garrett, challenge.
Oh, God. So in high school, I was a skinny lad. And so when I finally had my growth spurt and was an adult-sized man, but still weighed so I was probably 6 feet tall and weighed 150 pounds, probably.
That's too little.
That's too little. And so I determined to gain weight. And I did. I gained 30 pounds. One of the ways I did it, a gallon of whole milk a day for a year.
Garrett, incidentally, quite fat now.
That would be so funny. It's going to happen to one of us someday.
Yeah.
And it's going to be merciless from the other. God. Yeah, it's a weird. I mean, I guess it might not happen. We're pretty late in the game. One of us was going to get fat. It probably would have happened by now.
We'll see.
I'm just going to start sneaking saturated fats into your oatmeal.
Into both of our oatmeal. See what happens. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's at verse 3, which is the church is full of bullshit. You just paid for Viagra, the preacher's boner. He didn't buy it for his sweet wife Judy. He'd rather some of that little boy booty. I don't. It's
upsetting.
It's just, there's nothing here. There's no coherent, through line with any of this. It's just a bunch of random shit thrown together.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's a rare anti-Christian verse from a very clearly Christian band, but it might just be anti-Catholic.
Yes, probably that.
Then the song continues for almost 90 more seconds of what the fuck being screamed in our ears before a timer bomb and various cartoon noises and screaming continue, and we end with the fade out of light chanting, so fucked up, so fucked up. Which brings us to track number 6, Satellite. Satellite.
Sal pointed out the worst punishment for crime is when they fuck off your time. It's worth more than anything. Money.
Okay, folks, that is where we are cutting it off this week. I know you were just getting settled into the ICPissmas spirit, but this thing clocks in at over 2 hours and 20 minutes, so it's going to take us some time to get the whole thing edited. And come on, it's the holidays. We got places to go, people to see, obligations. Grant us a little bit of grace. We split this thing into 2. Hopefully you're enjoying it. We certainly enjoyed hating it. It is, my goodness, a beast. And we're going to continue on. I think we have a whopping 12 additional tracks, and they really didn't skimp this year. There is almost 0 skits, sketches, or jokes. It's all just songs and sincere singing. And, guys, strap in. But that's next week. For this week, as always, reach out to us, hatePodMail@gmail.com. Instagram is hatepod. Twitter is albumhatepod. We'll be back next week with the second half of The Fearless Fred Fury. But for this week, I have been one of your hosts, Garrett Harvey. Tim's around here somewhere, but was not here at the agreed upon time to record this outro, so I am doing it for him. We'll see you next week.
There's cowboys running through my dreams. Nothing's quite the way it seems. I joined the Navy, got kicked out in a week. My facial features aren't distinct. Try to find some meaning in these songs. The genius is a genius, got it wrong. No, it's a lobster murder sex thing. It's the bleaching of the rear. A full assault on both your ears. Riffs are too repetitive, the lyrics make no sense. All the songs are B-sides, the cover art's a mess. Listen to it for a week, now that week has passed. It's the Why I Hate This Album podcast with Tim and Gary.